Trump administration scrambled this weekend, in fact, also to reinstate key workers at the Energy Department. Given what they had included there, they say that they at first fired 300 people, but then they also said that that number was closer to 50. Now, we're told that the workers were abruptly let go, even though some actually oversee nuclear weapons and how they are designed and inspected. Ernest Moniz was the U.S. Energy Secretary in the Obama administration. He joins us now from Boston. Good to have you here. You know, you have warned for years that the U.S. needs to modernize, safeguard its nuclear infrastructure, safeguard that nuclear stockpile. And it will be expensive. It will also require expertise. What do you see as the effects of this recent shakeup, even though, the details are disputed?
Well, first, let me say that I think most people, frankly, in the United States and many in the government do not realize that about half of the budget of the Department of Energy is used to maintain our nuclear weapons, to design them, to take them apart, put them back together, to assure that nuclear materials internationally are under good control, to keep our nuclear navy projecting itself across the globe. So when the firing of well over 300 people from that group was announced, we were very, very concerned because, as you say, we are right now in the midst of a need to modernize the nuclear weapons system. And in particular, the facilities at the Department of Energy are very old. They go way back into the Cold War. So it's expensive, and it needs real expertise in our laboratories, in our facilities, and at DOE headquarters, where the federal workforce has to oversee all of this activity.
Are you worried about the damage already done? I mean, the Trump administration argues that these are administrative staff, and yet it must be difficult to recruit and retain this kind of expertise in the first place.
You're absolutely correct. It's obvious that our universities, for example, do not give degrees in nuclear weapons. So these are all people who are trained. The Department of Energy is the repository, really, for nuclear security knowledge in the United States. And my concern is that even though most of the positions that were dismissed, the people who were dismissed from those positions have been called back, there's clearly a lot of uncertainty in the future, and we could very well see earlier retirements. These are people who are quite attractive in the private sector. We have a major defense establishment, for example, and these people, I think, are very patriotic and dedicated to what they are doing in terms of maintaining safety and security of our nuclear stockpile, of our nuclear materials. And so I think we have to essentially rebuild confidence in this group that we are in this for many decades in terms of rebuilding the infrastructure and maintaining, without nuclear testing, I might add, for 35 years, almost 35 years, these very, very destructive weapons if they had to be used.
Yeah, which, if we all needed the reminder, poses an existential threat to all of us potentially. I do want to get to what is in the news today. In terms of Russia perhaps resuming what are more fulsome diplomatic relations with the United States, maybe even across business lines, Russia itself has trampled the red line when it comes to nuclear threats. You've said that yourself. Do you have concerns that the Trump administration is actually now rewarding Russia for its belligerent behavior on the nuclear front?
Well, of course, there are many issues around the resumed discussions with Russia, and I won't get into the dynamics with regard to Europe and Ukraine. But on the nuclear issue specifically, on the one hand, Russia and President Putin have clearly crossed a number of red lines in terms of saber rattling with nuclear weapons against a non-nuclear weapon state. And this is a very complex dynamic. But on the other hand, I also have to remind everyone that for many decades, we did maintain the nuclear peace precisely because of discussions, negotiations with the Soviet Union first, and then post-Cold War with Russia. So somehow we have to be able to chew gum and walk at the same time. That is, we need to have dialogue on the shared responsibilities between Russia and the United States, and I would add China increasingly in that dynamic, so that we can pursue our mutual interest in maintaining nuclear weapons in a safe and secure way, making sure they're not used by accident, if you like,
Uh-huh.
and to maintain the nuclear nonproliferation regime globally, which depends upon our acting responsibly.
Yeah, I would say a lot at stake there, as you outline. I'm not sure that Russia is actually walking the walk on that right now, but we will continue to keep an eye on it, especially as it ramps up, apparently, any diplomacy there with the United States. Ernest Moniz, always good to have
And
you. Thanks so much.
thank you.